You are not going to believe what just went down on WWE television. The mystery that's been eating away at the entire Smackdown roster for weeks, the masked attacker that's been terrorizing superstars backstage, leaving carnage in their wake, has finally been unmasked. And let me tell you, the person behind that mask is going to shock you to your core. Before we dive into this absolute madness, do me a favor real quick. Smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell because you do not want to miss a single moment of the chaos we break down on this channel. Trust me, what's coming is going to blow your mind. For weeks now, Smackdown has been under siege. Week after week, superstars have been found laid out backstage, camera equipment destroyed, locker rooms torn apart, and every single time there's been one common thread: a figure in a black mask moving through the shadows like a ghost, striking when nobody expects it and vanishing before security can even respond. The entire roster has been on edge. Nobody knows who's next. Nobody knows why this is happening. And most importantly, nobody knew who was behind that mask. Aldis, the Smackdown general manager, has been under immense pressure to get to the bottom of this. The attacks have been escalating. First, it was lower card guys getting jumped. Then mid-carders started falling victim. But last week, the masked attacker took out a former world champion. This wasn't just some random acts of violence anymore. This was a calculated assault on the very foundation of SmackDown. The locker room was in chaos. Superstars were pointing fingers at each other. Paranoia was spreading like wildfire. And Aldis knew that if he didn't solve this mystery soon, SmackDown would tear itself apart from the inside out. So Aldis did what he had to do. He set a trap. And oh man, what a trap it was. See, Aldis is a former wrestler himself. He knows how these games are played. He knows that predators get comfortable, they get cocky, and that's when they make mistakes. So he leaked information. False information about a particular superstar being alone in the parking garage after the show. He made it look accidental, like someone on his staff let it slip in a conversation that was overheard by the wrong people. He positioned security cameras in hidden locations. He had officials stationed at every exit. And then he waited. The atmosphere last Friday on SmackDown was electric. You could feel the tension through the screen. Superstars were wrestling their matches, but everyone backstage was on high alert. Social media was buzzing with theories. Was it a disgruntled superstar who'd been overlooked for opportunities? Was it someone from NXT making a statement? Was it a returning legend with a vendetta? The speculation was out of control, and WWE was playing it perfectly, keeping everyone guessing until the very last second. And then it happened. Late in the show, after the main event had concluded and most of the audience had filed out of the arena, the production truck picked up movement in the parking garage. The masked figure was there, stalking through the shadows, moving with purpose toward the location where the target was supposedly waiting alone. Security held their positions. Aldis watched from the monitor backstage, his jaw clenched, knowing that this was the moment everything would come to light. The cameras followed as the masked attacker crept closer, their hands balling into fists, clearly preparing to strike. But this time, the trap was sprung. The lights in the parking garage exploded to full brightness. Security rushed in from all sides. The masked attacker spun around, realizing too late they'd been set up, trying to find an escape route but finding nothing but walls of officials closing in. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The game was over. And Aldis stepped into frame, walking toward the masked figure with an intensity we've never seen from the usually composed general manager. This was personal now. This chaos, this fear, this disruption of his show, it all ended tonight. Aldis reached forward and ripped the mask off. And I'm telling you right now, the collective gasp that went through the arena, through the locker room, through social media, it was deafening. Because the person behind that mask wasn't some random disgruntled wrestler. It wasn't an NXT call-up. It wasn't a returning legend. No. The person behind that mask was someone who had been right there the entire time. Someone who had been playing everyone like a fiddle, earning trust while secretly orchestrating this entire campaign of terror. The identity sent shockwaves through the entire WWE universe. And I guarantee you're going to want to hit that like button after you hear who it was. If you're enjoying this breakdown of absolute insanity, show some love. Hit that like button, drop a comment below telling me what you think about this reveal, and make sure you share this video with your wrestling friends because they need to know what went down. Now let's talk about why this person did it, because the explanation is just as wild as the reveal itself. Once the mask came off, Aldis demanded answers right there in the parking garage with cameras rolling. The intensity of that moment was suffocating. You could see the betrayal in Aldis's eyes, the confusion, the anger. And what came next was a promo that's already being called one of the most chilling explanations in recent WWE history. The attacker didn't show remorse. They didn't apologize. Instead, they smiled. Actually smiled, and began explaining their master plan with a calmness that was honestly terrifying. They talked about how they've been overlooked for years, how they'd watched other superstars get opportunity after opportunity while they were stuck in the same position, spinning their wheels, being told to wait their turn. They talked about how the system was rigged, how management played favorites, how no matter how hard they worked or how much they sacrificed, the brass ring was always just out of reach. And they decided that if they couldn't get to the top through traditional means, they'd burn the whole system down and rebuild it in their image. Every attack was strategic. Every victim was chosen specifically to send a message. They weren't just lashing out randomly. They were dismantling the hierarchy of Smackdown piece by piece, eliminating the competition, and creating fear so that when they finally revealed themselves, nobody would dare stand in their way.
The entire time, they were the wolf in sheep's clothing, and everyone fell for it. Nick Aldis stood there, taking it all in, and you could see his mind working, processing not just the confession, but the implications. Because now he had to figure out what to do with this information. He had a superstar who just admitted to assault, to destruction of property, to creating a hostile work environment. But he also had a situation that was now incredibly personal. This wasn't just about rule enforcement anymore. This was about justice. And Aldis, standing there in that parking garage with security surrounding them, made a decision that's going to have massive ramifications for SmackDown moving forward. He suspended the attacker indefinitely, effective immediately. But then, and this is where it gets really interesting, he announced that the suspension would be lifted under one condition. At the next Premium Live event, the mask attacker would face a superstar of Aldis' choosing in a no-holds-barred match. If they won, they'd be reinstated and get a guaranteed opportunity at the United States Championship. But if they lost, they'd be fired from WWE. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the question on everyone's mind now is, who is Aldis going to choose as their opponent? Because you know he's going to pick someone who's going to make them pay for every single attack, every moment of chaos they caused. The wrestling world is absolutely exploding with speculation right now. Social media is on fire. Wrestling podcasts are doing emergency episodes. Everyone has an opinion on this reveal and what it means for SmackDown's future. Some fans are praising the long-term storytelling. Others are shocked they didn't see it coming. And everyone's trying to figure out who the opponent would be for that no-holds-barred match. Will it be one of the victims coming back for revenge? Will it be a main event superstar looking to make a statement? Will Aldis bring someone up from NXT specifically to handle this situation? The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this storyline so compelling. What I love about this entire angle is how it's been built. WWE didn't rush it. They let the mystery simmer. They let the paranoia build naturally. They gave us red herrings and false leads. And when they finally pulled the trigger on the reveal, it mattered. It wasn't some throwaway moment on a random episode. It was a culmination of weeks of storytelling that's now setting up an even bigger payoff at the Premium Live event. This is long-term booking done right. And it's exactly the kind of content that keeps us hooked on wrestling week after week. Make sure you stick around until the very end of this video because we need to talk about where this story goes from here and what it means for the championship picture on SmackDown. The ripple effects of this revelation are going to be massive. We're talking about potential alliances forming, old rivalries reigniting, and a reshuffling of the entire roster dynamic. SmackDown just got a whole lot more interesting. And if you're not already subscribed to Hardcore Highlights, you're missing out on the best wrestling analysis and breakdowns on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button right now. The unmasking of the attacker is just the beginning. This story is far from over, and the next chapter is going to be explosive.
Drop a comment below with your predictions for who Aldis will choose as the opponent. Share this video so everyone knows about this incredible reveal. And most importantly, keep watching because the fallout from this is going to dominate WWE programming for weeks to come. This is Hardcore Highlights, where we bring you the most intense, most dramatic, most must-see moments in wrestling. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.